दिया बाजू छाना बिलोरी लगला बिलोरी का खामा झंडिया बाजू छाना बिलोरी लगला बिलोरी का खामा नाके की नथुली नाक मिरोली हाथ की कुटली हाथ मिरोली लगला बिलोरी का खामा लगला बिलोरी का खामा झंडिया बाजू छाना बिलोरी लगला बिलोरी का खामा.
Hello everyone, welcome to Himalayan Echoes, Kumaon Festival of Literature and Arts. My name is Kanika, and in this session, I will be in conversation with debutante children's author Priyanka Pradhan to discuss her book, Tales from the Himalayas. As the name suggests, as the name of the book suggests, this book is based on the rich tradition of the Himalayan region. And in my opinion, this book is a treasure trove for children and adults alike. Thank you, Priyanka, for writing such a heartwarming book, and welcome to this session.
Thank you so much, Kanika. Thank you for having me and for this opportunity to talk about my book.
Such a pleasure to have you here. How are you? How have you been?
I'm great, thank you. A little nervous because the launch of the book is just around the corner, but it's good nervous. It's good.
Yeah, I can imagine. And how has it been thus far during these difficult and trying times?
Well, I've decided to make the most of it, and I spend a lot of my time painting and with Kathak. So yes, I've somehow made the most of it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I believe like it's been a difficult time for everyone. And for most of us, I think books have been a sort of companion, during these difficult times. And
Yeah.
so, bringing back the conversation to your book, which is wonderful. I would like to start off by asking you to tell us briefly about your connection with the Himalayas and Uttarakhand.
Sure. So my family is actually originally from Kumaon, from Pithoragarh, in fact, and they migrated to Mumbai in the 1960s because my grandfather was inducted into the Navy. So the future generations then grew up in Mumbai. And my grandmother, this is exactly why my grandmother would tell us stories, us meaning the grandchildren. She would tell us stories about her life growing up in Kumaon. She would talk about folk tales, and she would sing folk songs for us, and just to keep us in close touch with our roots, because we never went to the mountains then. And yes, of course, we traveled to the big cities in Uttarakhand on vacation, but never actually went back up there to Pithoragarh.
Okay.
So yes, this is a great way to keep in touch with our roots. And this is exactly my inspiration behind Tales from the Himalayas.
Yeah, I think a lot of us have our grandparents to thank us for, just igniting that creative spark in like so many of us.
Absolutely.
I have read the book and I found the themes in your book fascinating. Like you have an eclectic mix of stories that both captivate and educate the audience. Your stories, speak about environment and conservation, animal habitat, history and culture. What made you decide on these themes?
So when I started writing these stories, I adapted some of the folk tales and I updated them to kind of reflect the times that we live in. So the kind of issues that children today kind of face, I wanted to highlight those, and I wanted to kind of retell these stories to be more relevant and appropriate for kids in today's world. So, which is why these are some of the issues that I felt very strongly about: body confidence, environment conservation, rejecting gender stereotypes. And at this age, it's very important for them to kind of deconstruct this right now. So, yeah, so I hope I've done justice, but I believe I've it's important to do it in a very sensitive and subtle manner.
Yes.
So
But the children don't realize they're reading like a textbook. It's like a children's book that also very
exactly,
educate.
I wanted to make it in an entertaining format
Yes, and I think
rather than just a model of the story kind of a thing.
yes, and I think you've successfully achieved your.
Thank you.
I also like that the children, in your stories have an array of personalities. Like, Bhula from A Night in the Dark Forest. He's very curious. The four children in the Dark Ghar, they have like this naive courageousness that only children at that age have. And Nayan from the postcard, he's very empathetic. He's very sensitive to the needs of others, especially his grandfather. It demonstrates that all children are different and, come from different experiences. But how important was it to you as an author to illustrate that through your stories?
Sure. So I believe that children absorb and observe the world in a very different way, in a very different and wonderful way, ways in which adults cannot. So, their personalities are being shaped every day by what they experience, what they see and observe. And this childlike enthusiasm and non-jaded, non-cynical view of life is something that's so precious, and I love highlighting that. And this is why I've kind of spoken about a child's personality in these stories, and I love this perspective, and I've explored that in most of the stories. And some of the stories like Dark Ghar are my tribute to, Enid Blyton's books, as I grew up reading, say Famous Five and Secret Seven, and this whole adventure and mystery. And I love that. I love reading for entertainment value. And this is this is why I've written about these kids' personalities in such a manner.
Yeah. I also loved the ending of Dark Ghar. Like, it wasn't, generally in children's story, you expect the expected, like, it's very predictable that, okay, they'll go. But I was so surprised by the twist and like the humor. It's like almost like this British humor, like, it's not like, you don't get it, like sort of a thing, but it was not get it, but it was very unexpected. And I really enjoyed the ending.
Great, I'm glad. I'm glad. Thank you.
Yes. And okay, moving further, like the process, I want to ask you about the process of, story writing. So some of the stories would like come naturally to you as an author, while, there would be others which would be a little more difficult to write, not so much in the process of writing, but like in terms of internalizing a story and then, putting it out on paper. Can you share which story was particularly challenging and why?
Yeah, I would say challenging because it was very emotional. There's a story called The Postcard, which is the last story in the book. And I drew from my own experience with my grandmother. So the story is about this grandchild and how he deals with his grandfather's deteriorating condition. And this was basically, I got that from how I was dealing with my grandmother's chemotherapy and then eventual demise. So it was very difficult for me to process that. And but it was also about coming to terms with it and getting closure. So this story was difficult because I had to revisit this very painful experience and kind of put it all there on the table and then write about it. So in that way, it was challenging, yes. But I think it shaped up well, and I think the point came through. So
no, definitely it did. Postcard is such a beautiful and heartwarming story. Like, without giving away much about the story, but there are these instances when they travel together on that bicycle, and the whole scenario that you describe. I could like literally feel myself, in that place as I was, sitting behind, let's say, my grandfather. It was just so surreal.
Thank you so much.
And according to your experience, what is the process and importance of writing a children's book, in this day and age where cell phones and, gizmos have become such a regular, fixture in everyone's hand, particularly children's? How significant is a book in a child's hand?
So while growing up, my experience was very different from what my child's experience is today, considering what she's exposed to. So I read books for, like I said, entertainment value, and I love reading. And I'm so glad we didn't have these gadgets to accompany us. right? But now I think it's even more important to inculcate the habit of reading in children, because it's exposing them to a simpler and slower and more wholesome form of entertainment,
Mhm.
right? And but the onus here, I must say, actually is on the parents, because a child will pick up a book only when he sees his parents sometimes reading. You
Yeah.
know, if he sees his parents, all he sees is them being engrossed in their own digital devices. How can you expect the child to do anything different?
Yeah.
So I think the onus is completely on the parents to pick up a book yourself, and then the child will follow suit.
True. And also
So
like
yeah,
the imagination that a book sparks, like the very, early thing that, you imagine everything inside your head. I mean, I think the cell phones and the digital world is sort of like, destroying that, because if you have like the visual medium in front of you, there's nothing left to imagine. But a
yes,
book,
absolutely. And they become zombies. They're dumbfounded by the screens. They just, that is not a way to kind of understand the world around you. That is not the way to do it.
like a book
The
can
way
be
books do it is completely different.
imagined. Yeah, you can imagine a book 10 different times. Like every time you pick it up, and 10
Exactly.
children will imagine it
And
10
imagination
different ways.
is so important, so important. When you see a screen, when you see a cartoon on the screen, you're not using your imagination. You're just looking, it's just a visual medium, it's just a one-way communication.
Yeah.
So it is very, very important right now in this day and age to actually go back to books.
Yes. Um, Speaking about books, any exciting and upcoming projects that you're working on that you would like to share with us?
Yes, actually, I'm working on two concepts. One is a young adult novel, which
Mhm.
I'm very excited about because I love reading young adult novels even till today.
Mhm.
Um, so this is about a mother-daughter relationship and how they both go on a road trip, which is not only a physical journey but also an emotional journey.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to writing that. Right now, what I'm doing is, as I always do, I write the story in my head as a short story,
Oh,
and then I want to expand it to a book. But I want to first get it all done. So that's what I'm working on right now, and also Tales from the Himalayas too. So which is now I'm going to be. Oops, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to be expanding the scope to the entire Himalayan belt from the northwest to the northeast, and also include Nepal, Bhutan, and Tibet. So this is something I'm very excited about also, because it'll allow me to travel and assimilate these stories firsthand. So, but that of course is subject to, COVID conditions,
yes.
which is why right now I'm working on the other one.
Oh, yeah. And both these projects seem very exciting, and I cannot wait to read once
Thank you.
they're like published. Like really,
Thank you. I think I'll enjoy writing them.
no, definitely. Reading your stories, I could, see that, you enjoy. Obviously, like every author enjoys it, but like definitely,
Yeah, but it's. I'm sure it looked like I'm having fun. I was having a blast writing these stories.
yeah, definitely. Speaking about young adult, what are the young adult novels that that you like, that you've read, or like something that you would recommend to people?
Yes, as a child, I was heavily into Enid Blyton and Rudyard Kipling, R.K. Narayan, Indian author, Roald Dahl. Judy Blume was a young adult writer. She wrote a lot about, you know, divorce and things like that, like issues that teens and adolescents kind of face. Which is very nice. And of course, then I read Mallory Towers, but I was also into classics, like some of my favorites being Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, and Great Expectations. And also, as a young adult, I also read an abridged version of Uncle Tom's Cabin,
Oh, okay.
which was
Yeah,
amazing.
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so those were
I
my
think you
early
cannot
life influences.
go wrong with classics. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any author that has particularly, influenced or shaped your style?
I think it would be Rudyard Kipling for sure, because my all-time favorite book ever is The Jungle Book. Yeah, I mean, I've yet to come across another book that has It is so wholesome, and it talks about the triumph of the human spirit, and our human connection with nature and all its beings. It is such a beautiful story. It's unforgettable.
Absolutely. Like I remember reading the book as a child. I haven't visited it, but of course I've seen like the various movie adaptations
Yeah.
of the book. And I think all of them are like wonderful in their own special way, like the movie adaptations. But of course, nothing beats the original.
Nothing beats the book, absolutely. Because, like you said, we used our imagination then, and we imagined the forest. We didn't have to see it; we imagined it, and it was so much more beautiful in our heads than it is on any movie, right?
Okay. Thank you, Priyanka, for such a wonderful discussion and for writing such a wonderful, heartwarming book for kids.
Thank you so much.
And can't wait to read more of your work. And I'm sure all our listeners and audience would want to get a copy of your book and read it with their children or with their nieces and nephews or young friends or just by themselves. It's a great.
That is my hope. That is my hope. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
हाय तेरी रुमाला गुलाबी मुखड़ी केवली छजीरे नाक की नथुनी केवली छजीरे नाक की नथुनी हाय तेरी रुमाला गवे गलो बंदा हाथ की दकुनी गवे गलो बंदा हाथ की दकुनी चम चम चमकी रे माथे की बिंदुली अरे चम चम चमकी रे माथे